Mark Racette, still watching Amanda.
Colton Rigsby, about to watch Amanda do a speech.
Tina Racette. Hello, my name is Amanda Racette, and I'm here to give a speech about my father, Mark Racette. My father was born in 1974 to a military family. My grandpa had joined the Navy instead of being drafted for the Vietnam War. He figured it would be better to choose to join and join where he wanted to. Because of that, my father and my aunt would move around 14 times in their lives. They did so across the country. My father was born in California, although my grandparents were from Kansas. And of course, he would settle in Virginia, not before being here, there, and everywhere, including England. My father went to Louisa County High School and he graduated there. And afterwards, he would become a firefighter. He's very independent, so of course, he immediately bought his own house and he began to see my mom. He did so by being hired by my grandfather, and my grandfather decided that he was a pretty good kid, so he thought that he might be a good son-in-law. This was something my grandfather denied for years until we finally got it out of him, that it was in fact planned all along. My father and my mother dated for a while, and my dad waited until they got married, until she graduated college to get married. They would have 5 kids in 6 years afterwards, all planned, all on purpose. They wound up getting a really awesome house in the town of Louisa, and they began to homeschool their kids. They homeschooled almost all of them, except for the oldest 2 who went to public school before for high school. And they did so on sort of, it's a town property, but my father always emphasized farming ideas, such as gardening. We had a cornfield, we had chickens, we have tomato plants, all sorts of things. You'll always see my little brother running a tractor around. When I was about 6, my dad insisted upon saving money on the electric bill, so he installed a wood stove behind our house. This would be a source of anguish throughout all of his kids' childhoods because it meant manual labor in exchange for saving money. He would always be looking for people who were trying to get rid of some lumber on their property, and we would all go chop up the wood, grab it, and bring it home with us. This was the case for a very long time while my father was working as a firefighter in Fairfax City, up 2 hours away from where we live. So he would be driving like 6 hours a week, every week. This all began to change when my father tore his ACL. He did this on duty as a firefighter, and it was an inconvenient time for him, but it was something that he could get through because it is something that happens to many old people. but he got through it. He took some time off and he went back to work. Unfortunately, he eventually was diagnosed with cancer and was forced to evaluate that. He had a giant tumor in his stomach that was causing him to bleed internally, and also caused a pretty severe iron deficiency, which was really bad for his health. Afterwards, he started having seizures, and he finally retired to come home and spend all of his days taking care of his family 24/7. He's a really hard worker, so he always makes time to help the family. He does this by watching my little cousins, his grandnieces, who are 4 and 6. He watches them many days a week, whenever their parents need it. He does this all for free. He takes time still to cut the wood. Fortunately, now that my brother is older, he is the one who cuts the wood for the most part. We all got out lucky, so him and my dad work on that for the most part. And yeah, that's how he spends his days. He's very big on mobile games, on his iPads. I know the most important thing for him right now is just looking forward to grandkids. So that's what he's told me. He can't wait for it, and we're just so happy to finally have our dad around every single day. It's just such a blessing for our family. And my dad's a really hard worker. He works hard. Everybody who knows him loves him. And we just couldn't ask for a better dad in our lives. In conclusion, my father spent most of his time in his childhood being moved from place to place. He worked hard to make sure that his kids would have one household for their entire childhoods. He worked hard to provide for all of us and to give us the life that we had. He's always been economical because when you have 5 kids, you have to be, but he's always done so well. Thank you.